Hello, welcome back to another episode of Kerbin Space Program. Now, I wasn't actually going to record this, but just going to clean up some more debris here. But then I figured, hey, why not just collect this crew container here instead of destroying it for material kits. So that's just one of our standard orbital module type things which we use on all of our space stations. Well, let's see about that. And while doing that, maybe we can talk a little bit. So I've been looking into the larger rockets, launchers, and we can go through that when this is done. But basically I remembered we already have a couple of these, like the launcher we used for the KerbinTank, or the launcher we use for the simple tanker ship. These are all 2.5 meter class launchers, not the 1.25 meter class launchers that we are using for the crewed vessels. And so theoretically we have a launcher capable of 20 tons and one of 30 tons to low orbit, which means we technically don't even have to build a new one. We could just use one of the existing ones for the time being, unless we need something that can launch more than 30 tons, which will probably happen sooner or later, but for the moment we are not yet there. The relative velocity, let's bring this maybe down a little more. Okay, 10 millimeters should be fine. Disable all of this. Now let's see. Oh, we're still too far away. Well, then let's go ahead again. I want to get quite cozy with that. Oh yeah, what was I saying? Oh yes, heavier launchers. So we are probably not in so much of a rush or hurry to build a new launcher. But then I also remembered we have this one long-standing contract to land a rover on the moon, which is a precondition for actually getting the contracts to launch a rover to Minmus. So we need to take care of that. And for this purpose I built a prototype test rover, which we will hopefully be able to try out today. But now let's try to get this sorted. EVA. And I hope I get this right. Let's see, can you grab this? No. First, yeah, that's equipped. Need our drill. And let's go. Let's see. Oh, that's the wrong way. Wait, please. Yes. Stop. Oh, why do we have to make this so complicated? Camera. Yes. Okay, now that's a little bit better, hopefully. Oh. Okay, let's get back into this before something bad happens. It seems to rotate a little. Board again. Rotation is not good. And maybe actually, okay, different approach. Let's get even closer. And then it will all be simpler. Like this. Basically I want to mount this between this and the docking port. I have no other option right now. This also needs a node attachment, I believe, and even if it doesn't, weight balance dictates that we place it on node in line with the engine. Okay, that's good. Now let's try again. EVA. Can I grab this, mount this on top there? Yes. And now grab this entire unit and mount it here. Since this is all well below 1 ton, that's working out just fine. which now also gives us a little bit more electrical storage, at least for the moment, until we return to the KerbinTank, and also some storage here. Well, that's not too bad. Not that we can actually use it. I wish we could reconfigure this in flight to store other resources, but that's not going to happen. So let's just select the next target. We are currently in a 84 by 80 kilometer orbit. This is in higher orbit, so we will not be catching up to that. What about this? Complicated. We will probably catch up with that. Let's see. What does the home and transfer to this look like? In 3 days and almost no meters per second. That's not ideal. Let's see, you have 31 minutes 27 seconds and we have 31 minutes 25 seconds. Okay, that's why. This thing has 31 minutes 45 seconds. Okay, so if we just reduce our period by a little bit, we should be able to catch up with that easily. Which means we go retrograde and maybe bring our periapsis down by 2 kilometers like this. Now we have 19 seconds. This is still at 27. And we are 15 degrees apart. Let me put that into the calculator. So rough calculation, 15.55 degrees of 360 is about 4.3%, and that times 31.5 minutes means 1.3 minutes difference. So maybe we should get the 1.3. Get about 20 seconds difference, then that would mean 4 orbits, so let's try that. Actually, without killing our orbit, bringing it below the atmosphere, so we will have to... Oh, yeah, that just about works out. Okay, now we should have this in 2 hours, excellent. Roughly like that, and we will know... Let's see. Add a maneuver there, and now bring it in. And another orbit. That's a 6 kilometer. What if we put this here and just try to fine-tune closest approach? That will give us a 11 meter burn. Yeah, why not? We'll just use that for our next correction. Or intercept with the next piece of debris. Now, what I was talking about. Let's have a look at this rover we want to try out. Actually be finished after this correction, but let's have a look at the vehicle. Just a very quick build of a rover we can use to hopefully fulfill that contract. We'll need to put a little bit of a launcher below it, but right now it's just to see whether the rover works and whether I've placed the cockpits correctly for driving. So let's maybe disassemble a little bit. As you see, on the top we have just a thermometer for minimum science and an antenna, and then we have 4 solar panels. Let's just remove these for the moment. They will not provide a lot of charge, just a little bit. We have a tiny battery here, it's not really necessary. We also have RCS fuel and two tiny monopropellant engines for actually a total of 876 meters per second. This means in theory, if we are really careful, we could land this entirely on its own from Mun orbit. I would prefer having it suborbital and just doing the final landing with that. So that's these two tanks and these two engines, and then we have a battery below, and of course the standard probe core, and on top I have another probe core which hopefully is oriented correctly to give me a forward control, and also a tiny RTG, one of these micro zap whatever, because the solar panels really don't provide a lot of power. Now how did I build these? Well, start out with one of these struts and just press H to align them horizontally, and the wheels you just also have to add manually, and use the movement tool to make them symmetrical. Otherwise I don't think there is currently a way to get these symmetrical like this in vanilla. And once you've completed one side, you just add both sides, do the horizontal shifting again, and it will automatically align. Well, anyway, that's the rover we've built, and actually let's have a look at the bigger launchers we have, because maybe some of you who haven't been here for so long haven't seen them. So the 30-ton launcher is the one we used for the tank, which we currently have in orbit, and that's just a plain old orange tank with not fully fueled. And let's see, the launcher itself actually needs a little bit of fuel from the orange tank, because you can see here the thrust to weight ratio is a little bit low, but that's also a 36-ton payload. With 30 tons it's a little bit better, but it roughly gets this amount into orbit. And if we look at it, here is just the that's just the attachment for the tank, and below here we have another engine unit for the upper stage, and that's pretty much the launcher. The rest is standard, using a set of Vulcan engines down below. And then is the tanker launcher, which is basically a 20-ton launcher. So up here we have the tanker itself, but if we were to remove that, or actually let's look, where is the tonnage here? These 19.7 tons, that's the tanker itself, and all below that is a perfectly capable launcher, which brings all of this into Kerbin orbit, or almost. So we have these two big launchers right now. I don't actually need a new one. Maybe if you want to build a bigger space station, then yes, but that will be an interesting endeavor in its own. So anyway, let's try and see whether the rover works, and then we will build a lander. Or delivery system, I should say, because the rover will be the only thing that really lands. Okay, let's see, we'll have to perform this correction maneuver. Let's go there. That's not what I wanted. Where's the... Oh, here. I wanted to find the contract to land the rover. Let's see whether I find it. Land the rover on the moon, this one. That's actually the one I want to accept. Well, let's accept it from down below. Maybe that's better. Fine tune, create. Oh, we fine tuned to 200 meters. Well, that was not ideal. .6 meters. Okay, we will take that a full second early. Execute, go. And hopefully make short work of this thing here. I don't want to spend any more time on that. But overall we are getting a lot of debris removed from Kerbin low orbit, so that's a good thing. Let's see, what's that? Oh, that's one of these, yeah. Pretty heavy if I remember correctly. And like this. And let's approach. Actually, let's try it like this. You go in EVA, click that. Oh. Let's try this again. Disassemble part. Okay. That's 500 units, yeah, as I thought. That is pretty heavy. So we cannot actually take any more parts right now, so we have to go back to the KerbinTank. Node. I want to target KerbinTank place, yes. And I will just use home and transfer here, hopefully in 4 hours, yeah, that's okay. So we will just use standard transfer and not try to tune it. Now let's have a look at the rover. How long until daylight? We're in the middle of the night. Well, that's not great. I guess we have to, yeah, we will perform this resupply mid-course correction as well, and then after that try the rover. I don't want to get into time pressure here. Should be easy enough. Okay. Well, why? I may have. Let's see. Kill rotation, no. Let's have a look, because we set up the autopilot here and also tried to have MakeChef do it. This may have gone a little wrong. Oh, looks like our approach is, well, reasonably okay. Not quite what I was hoping for. Let's see. Okay, perhaps this is not this way. Perhaps this is now at 28, that's good, and it's actually reasonably close to the ascending descending node. What if we... Okay. That's also not the right way. Okay, how about... I'll just use that and not bother anymore. Perhaps this is okay, fine. And we will set the maneuver. Add one here, circularize, create, delete this. Oh, come on. Add one here, circularize, add the next periapsis, create, delete. And now we can fine tune this a little bit. We don't actually want to fully circularize, so let's go out a little further. Then I also want to correct most of the inclination here. Yeah, will be okay roughly like that. And let's see, can we phase this? And phase this. Okay, thereabouts should be fine. And that will be the capture burn for this resupply stay. Capture. Okay, close. All of that, space center. We also don't need this SOI change. And now let's go here and accept this contract, which was... Yeah, was it actually survey? No. Station? No. Here, Land Rover on the moon. We will take that. Maybe we should have tried the rover first, but I guess we will see. Follow 20 seconds, yes. And let's see what we get. Obviously it doesn't have enough thrust to weight ratio to perform any tests, flying tests here at Kerbin, but we should at least be able to test the roving capabilities. So first probe core is obviously pointed up. Let's see, I've set up action groups, so if we try this, perfect, yes. Okay, and that's rolling just fine. We might want to disable some of the... let's see, this doesn't have... Oh, we didn't even have SAS enabled. Huh, interest. Actually, yes, I want to mostly disable this, just so we don't get any bad problems here, because the rover is so extremely lightweight. Even this tiny bit of RCS might be overpowered. Okay. Yep. I would say that's working perfectly fine. So we can return to the launch pad and recover this. Just put on the brakes, please. Right, brakes, there. Brakes. Brakes, that's the hotkey. Okay, well, recover vessel. Now we can put it on a rocket and launch it to the moon. Yeah, whatever. I just want to reload this. Not the tanker, but the rover. Load. Okay, excellent. 2 hours, that's good. Now, need a tiny separator. Could even use that one. Let's use the normal one. And then let's say we, how about we just put the entire transfer stage below that. So that is overall 420 kilograms. Oh dear. That will be difficult to build something so small. What's that? Try that. Okay, give me an engine. Any engine should do. This one would most certainly do. All tanks, put this in. That's 1300 meters. That's absolutely perfect. That's really perfect. I mean, getting from Kerbin to the moon, 900 something, capturing, well, 800 something, capturing a little bit, and then starting the descent. Good. Although the engine is totally overweight for this, right? 500 kilograms here. Yeah, maybe that's a little bit much of an engine. How about not this one? Well, actually the monoprop engine could also be nice. How about this one? 1900 meters. Yeah, that's because the engine. This has what, 5 kilonewtons. This was also, I would like something with 10 kilonewtons maybe. That's 14, but has a bad thrust to weight ratio. Wait, what? Oh, that's a monoprop engine. Okay, remove. And what if we lock these? Yeah, that's not enough. Okay, let's try some different engine. Not this. Well, yeah, that's too heavy. Normally I would use this one, but if you remember, that one has an offset thrust, so that's not good. Also have the spark, which would have enough, but bad KSP. This one also not ideal. Hide this for a moment, please. Thank you. So this is 17 kilonewtons, but yeah, not. There was one other engine. Let's see if I can find it. If not, we will just go with whatever we had before. Let's see what happens if we use the this one. $1,500, yeah, why not? Actually, that's okay. We haven't used this here in this series, so it will probably take a day to build just this engine. Well, what about this one instead? We have built this before. Okay, that's a little faster, so I will use that. And it's also giving us a nice, quite decent values there. Good. Now this is only a 500 meter antenna, right? Could be a problem. Oh no, it's a 16S. Yeah, 16S, so it's this one, 1500 kilometers, that's okay. Good. The next thing we need to do is put another, well, a launcher below this, which can bring a single ton into orbit. Do we even have something so tiny? Eventually, let's see. What about this? That has way... Oh, wait. Staging. That staging is all messed up, so that's this. Retros and this decoupler. This decoupler goes here. Now engine goes here. Now it all looks much better, except we don't have enough power. Oh, it should be easy enough. See, that's these fairings. I do not actually want to separate them, right? Okay, we can put them up here. Let's see, this is for circularization, so we need a little bit more on the solid maybe. That also use this engine, that's not ideal. Okay. There's the... like this fairing, please. Only the fairing. Then maybe replace this engine here with the bigger one, because I remember that was causing some problems. Okay, this engine. Now we have a decent thrust to weight ratio. We can extend this tank a little bit after we put this back. We want this to about 3,600 or so. Should not be a problem at all. Well, let's stick like that. And bend this a little bit. Not this way, this way. Right about there looks okay to me. Let's bring these around. Build time is a day, that's also acceptable. It might be a little bit difficult with the fairing actually. The entire thing, oh, come on. I just wanted the fairing. Yeah. Let's see, this looks a little ridiculous. But with a proper trust to weight ratio there. Or yeah, maybe a little bit more here. About like this, should be okay. So rover test, that will now be Mun Rover test. Oh, let's stick with rover test. Let's build that. Next staging again, so that is the engines up there and the separator. That is the engine there. The retros here. The coupler below this engine, yes. This thing and the fairings up there. These fairings need to go earlier. This is this engine and the decoupler for it. Yeah, it's probably okay to have this as separate. This decoupler, and let's also access to this, yes. Let's add this also here, just to be safe. Build. And I'll put this up on the top, but this will probably happen in the next episode because we're already running a little long, maybe. Let's see. Yeah, we are running close to 40 minutes, so this will have to wait until the next episode. Thank you for watching and joining me here. Unfortunately, we didn't achieve much, but we tried the rover and we will hopefully be able to use that in, well, launch it in the next episode and use it shortly afterwards. So until then, have a nice day. Bye bye.